Okay, greetings everybody. I want to welcome you here to the Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock, hard rock, heavy metal, and other forms of rock music. So we're here with an episode of What's New. It's going to be a little bit late. I'm getting in here late tonight, but everything's ready to go. This will be take two, as I had a serious coughing spaz halfway through it and spent about a minute coughing. Sure, you don't really want to hear that. Neither do I. So I got my water now. That should contain my dry throat. Anyways, the album we've chosen to do tonight is Devin Townsend's Powernerd. This is a recent release coming out October the 25th of this year. It's about 44 minutes in length on the Inside Out label, as well as Debbie Bevy, or Heavy Debbie, or is that Heavy Bevy? Heavy Debbie, I'm not sure. Anyways, produced by Devin Townsend, of course. Appearing on the album, Devin Townsend on vocals. Where did I put my glasses? Here we are. Definitely going to need them. Devin Townsend on vocals, guitar, synthesizers, bass, and programming. Darby Todd on drums, Diego Tejada on keyboards and synthesizers, Mike Kinnelly on keyboards, Jean Savoy on bass, and Amanda Kozla, Tanya Grosh, and Jamie Jazla on backing vocals. So now on to the track. So there are about, I think there's like 11 or 12 tracks here. Just let me do a double check. Yeah, I think there's 11 tracks on this. Album actually starts out pretty strong and then just, it doesn't really fade. It just kind of drops down a notch and stays at that notch for the rest of the album. So pretty much all the songs fall within the 5 to 6 range. There's nothing below that, nothing above it. But a solid album. I would call this a symphonic, speed metal, heavy metal, melodic heavy metal, even some punkiness to it. Some excellent guitar throughout the album. It's a pretty heavy album for the most part. There are some tracks that aren't so heavy and some that are a little bit different. So we're going to break them down a little bit at a time here. So, Powernerd, which is the opening track, also the title track, is kind of a speed metal punk-like song, I think. It's got that, it's almost reminds me a little bit of Motorhead, but at a faster pace. It's a faster pace Motorhead song, if you want to call it that. Definitely got some good stuff going on this opening track. The second track, Falling Apart, is more heavy metal-like track, not so much of a speed metal or a symphonic sound to it at all. It's got the catchy power chord riffs throughout the song, and the vocals are a little bit gothic-like. No more spastic vocal losing it today. Try my best anyways. So the next track out is called Knuckle Dragger. It's a melodic guitar, some strong dominant drums on this particular track. The vocals are loud and they're multiples, which is more of a symphonic sound to their music because of the vocal sounds. One of the better tracks as well. Gratitude, another one of the better tracks. Heavy atmospheric sound throughout this particular track. The vocals are strong and forward. I did like this track quite a bit, actually. The next track out is Dreams of Light. It's kind of just a brief interlude. There's not really much to say about it, so I'm not going to. Now we'll go towards the back half of the album. Eubelia is the next track. Very symphonic metal sound here with some very operatic symphonic vocal sounds throughout this particular track. And this is a kind of theme on this album. I think most of the tracks fall within the range here. Most of them have this kind of a sound to them. Jainism is next. Very heavy melodic riff some harsh vocals, almost death metal-like vocals going on this particular track. Young Lover, the next track, starts with a soft kind of acoustic part, gets heavier with some heavy riffing, and the vocals are high and soft like, and they kind of bounce up as they go up. It's a little bit of a different track from some of the other stuff on the album. Then you got Glacier, that's the next track. Very heavy symphonic, melodic soundscape on this particular track. The vocals are at points a little bit delicate, but so they got the kind of a metal sound, but they got delicate part too. So this one is pretty standard song on the album, except for the delicate vocal parts. And to be honest with you, I think this is probably the worst track on the album. It was the only track of the album that I just thought was weak. Maybe a bit of a filler, I guess, maybe you might want to say. Then you got the second to last track, which is called Goodbye. Heavy, clear guitar opening. Then you got some vocals that are kind of whispery at points during the sound, during the beginning sound part, sorry. And then during the down sound, I guess, maybe might be a good way to put it. Then you got this catchy, heavy up-tempo riffs that start happening, and then it becomes pretty much dominated by that symphonic sound that I've been talking about throughout the entire album. And then the final track on the album, one that I like quite a bit, because it's quite a bit different than the other songs. So you got this song, Ruby Quaker is what it is. It's a quiet, it opens up with a kind of a quiet, acoustic, almost pastoral folk-like song. And then it steps up and becomes this kind of country sound, almost like a jamboree type song. Maybe more like a little bit like a jamboree type song. And then it goes full on metal. So, kind of a different song. Definitely stands out on the album as being somewhat odd. But overall, not a bad track. I did like this one. I did like most of the stuff I gave more than a 5.5. There's only the one song that I didn't really care for, and that was Glacier. Maybe that song, I gave it a pass. Maybe it really wasn't. I don't know. It's pretty close, though. Anyways, there you have it. Devin Townsend's Powernerd, most recently released the last couple weeks. I hope you've liked this episode. Please hit the like and subscribe. Do not forget to hit the notification bell. And if you want to make any comments about the album or about Devin Townsend or about anything I've said, please put that comments in the comment section below. And I'm forever grateful that I didn't lose it this time with the voice hacking. I managed to keep it together. Anyways, we will see you next week when we will be doing another episode of What's New. And tomorrow we'll start the new week. I think we're going to be having some new stuff maybe start next week. I haven't talked to Ben. It might be another week before we get to that. I'm not sure yet. I'll have to check my emails tonight before I go to bed and see if I'd heard anything from them, and then we'll get to it. Anyways, we will see you tomorrow with an episode of This Week, hopefully, and of course the continuing series, which seems to be doing pretty popular. We're getting quite a bit of comments about several of the drummers, and some corrections on my part as well, so that's all good. And we will see you then, so take care and have yourself a good evening.